Hey everyone, and welcome to this edition of The Explainer. Today we're tackling a massive headache that even the most seasoned automation pros run into: proxy bandwidth limits. If you rely on proxies for your operations, understanding exactly how your data flows, and more importantly, when it stops, is absolutely crucial. Let me paint a picture for you. Have you ever been right in the middle of a massive, high-volume web scraping task, or maybe an extensive ad verification campaign, and suddenly, nothing? Everything just halts. You check your logs, and boom, you realize you've hit an invisible wall. Your data cap kicked in. It's the classic nightmare scenario, right? Unexpected overages, abruptly blocked requests, totally derailed projects. Well, that is exactly the headache we're going to cure today. Okay, let's dive into this. Our agenda for today is 1. The proxy data trap. 2. What are bandwidth limits? 3. Why bandwidth limits matter. 4. Metered versus unmetered plans. And 5. Tips to maximize bandwidth. Section 1. The proxy data trap. When operations grind to a halt. It is incredibly easy to underestimate just how resource-hungry modern web operations actually are. One proxy rack customer, Irenacia J., really hit the nail on the head here. She said, when using proxies and surfing the web, you can use an entire GB plan in under an hour. Let that sink in for a second. An entire gigabyte completely gone in less than 60 minutes. When you're executing high-volume tasks like market research, continuous ad verification, or web scraping, those activities just devour data. If you just set it and forget it without understanding your limits, you're walking straight into a trap. Section 2. What are bandwidth limits? The pipeline of data. To really wrap our heads around these data caps, let's picture a physical water pipe connecting you to the internet. A proxy bandwidth limit is basically the absolute maximum amount of data you can send or receive through a proxy over a specific period. It's usually measured per month in gigabytes or terabytes. And remember, both the data you sent out, your requests, and the data you receive back count toward that total volume. So think of this limit literally as the total amount of water your specific pipe is allowed to carry over 30 days. Let's anchor this with a specific number: 100 gigabytes. If you purchase a proxy plan with a 100 gigabyte monthly limit, that is a strict, hard boundary. It allows exactly that amount of transfer in a month. It's not a loose suggestion. It's a hard cap programmed directly into the network. So what actually happens when you hit that limit? Well, that smooth flow of your data pipeline comes to a crashing halt, and the consequences can be pretty severe. Depending on your provider, your connections might slow to a crawl, causing your automation tools to just time out. Or worse, you might get hit with hefty surprise overage fees that absolutely wreck your project's budget. In some cases, your provider might just temporarily suspend the proxy entirely, leaving your screps failing and your data totally uncollected until the next billing cycle kicks in. Section 3. Why bandwidth limits matter: protecting your budget and tasks. So the crucial point is that monitoring these limits isn't just technical trivia. It's about protecting your budget and ensuring your tasks actually get done. There are 4 main reasons we must keep an eye on these caps. First, to avoid unexpected costs. Nobody likes surprise bills. Second, to ensure reliable performance. Hitting a cap means instant unresponsiveness and disruption. Third, to plan for high-volume tasks. If you're doing bulk downloads or heavy scraping, you've got to do the math beforehand. And fourth, to compare providers wisely. Knowing your exact workflow allows you to look at the market and pick the perfect plan for your specific needs. Section 4. Metered versus unmetered plans. The Great Divide. When you're setting up your infrastructure, you're going to hit a fork in the road. On one side, we have metered plans. These are all about strict cost control. You literally buy only what you need, and if your usage happens to spike unexpectedly, you utilize top-up flexibility to grab a little more. On the other side, we have unmetered plans. These provide total freedom to send and receive as much data as you want. If you're running relentless high-volume tasks like enterprise-level web scraping or bulk downloads, unmetered is usually your best friend because it removes that bandwidth ceiling entirely. Now, you also have to factor in the type of proxy you're actually using. Data center proxies generally offer fast, flat-fee, uncapped bandwidth. They're fantastic for heavy lifting. Residential proxies, on the other hand, which give you real IPs from real households, typically consume more bandwidth and often come with metered constraints. But they are absolutely essential for your most challenging, complex scraping projects where avoiding bans is top priority. So the type of proxy you choose directly impacts your data consumption strategy. Section 5. Tips to maximize bandwidth. Keep your pipeline flowing. All right, let's talk actionable strategy to maintain a highly efficient proxy setup. Here is your 5-step playbook. Step 1, monitor usage constantly so you don't get surprised. Step 2, rotate proxies to spread your tasks and balance the bandwidth load. Step 3, optimize requests, which we'll look at a bit closer in just a second. Step 4, choose the right proxy type, matching data center or residential to your specific task. And Step 5, proactively use top-up options during peak periods before you hit the wall. Let's drill down specifically into Step 3 for a moment, optimizing requests. This is where you can seriously trim the fat to save bandwidth. Take a look at your code. Are you asking the server for information you don't actually need? Cut those unnecessary requests out. Are you pulling down massive, uncompressed files? Make sure you're compressing data wherever possible. And finally, architect your systems so you aren't repeatedly downloading the exact same assets. Every single byte you save here is a byte you can use somewhere else. Of course, to execute any of this, you cannot fly blind. You absolutely must use your provider's live reporting dashboard. A good provider is going to give you full transparency. You should be regularly checking your current and total bandwidth. You need to monitor your thread limits and see exactly how many IPs are online. And you must actively track the data being received and sent. If you aren't checking your dashboard, you're just guessing. And guessing is exactly how operations get suspended. I want to leave you with a final, provocative thought to mull over as you audit your own systems today. Ask yourself, are you paying for data you don't actually need? Or are you starving the tasks that matter the most? Take a hard look at your proxy pipeline, apply the strategies we've discussed today, and take back control of your bandwidth. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I will see you next time as we continue to break down the complexities of the digital world.